Hey, my kitty carry-alls. Welcome to Thursday night. So, what have you heard about Albert Fish? Other than being a sexual deviant, a pedophile, a sadomasochist, a cannibal. Well, these are some of the characteristics that actually fit him. So, he's also known as the Gray Man, or the Werewolf of Wisteria, or also the Vampire of Brooklyn. So, these are a few stats. Serial killer characteristics: sex pervert, including cannibalism, coprophilia, urophilia, pedophilia, and masochism. He has 3 to 10 plus victims. So the murders span from 1924 to 1934. The date of his arrest, December 13th, 1934. His date of birth, May 19th, 1870. His victims: Francis X. McDonald, Billy Gaffney, and Grace Budd. Method of murder: stabbing with knife and strangulation. Location: New York, USA. Status: executed by electrocution. I can't talk alright, guys. I just woke up from a nap. You know, one of those hard-ass naps you take.
Yeah.
He was at Sing Sing Prison in New York.
So here too.
Oh, yeah, I am joined by the Rue tonight.
Oh.
So, Albert Hamilton Fish was an American sadomasochistic serial killer and cannibal. He was also known as the Gray Man, the Vampire of Brooklyn, or the Werewolf of Wisteria. He boasted that he had children in every state, putting the figure around 100, although it's not clear whether he was talking about molestation or cannibalization. Less still is as to whether it was true or not. He was a suspect in at least 5 killings in his lifetime. Fish confessed to 3 murders that police were able to trace known homicides, and confessed to stabbing at least 2 other people. He was put on trial for kidnapping and the murder of Grace Budd, and he was convicted and executed via electric chair. Just to let you guys know, I am reading my facts from murderpedia.org. If we didn't know, Murderpedia is the Wikipedia of murderers, both male and female, throughout the whole world. So, guys, also before we get started, make sure if you want to start a podcast of your own, you download Anchor. With Anchor, you could actually get your podcast distributed through different podcast streamings like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, and so many more. So, download the Anchor app and get started on your own. So, let's continue. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I woke up from a nap, and my nose is kind of, like, jacked.
I'm the only one awake.
Yeah. Biography. He was born as Hamilton Fish in Washington, D.C. to Randall Fish, 1979 to 1875. He had said he had been named after Hamilton Fish, a distant relative. His father was 43 years older than his mother. Fish was the youngest child, and he had 3 living siblings: Walter, Annie, and Edwin Fish. He wished to be called Albert after a dead sibling to escape the nickname Ham and Eggs.
Damn. Okay. That was random.
Imagine. Instead of being called the Vampire of Brooklyn. Oh, watch out, Ham and Eggs is coming to get you. Imagine some little kid calling him Ham and Eggs.
Green eggs and ham.
Oh my god. He was given at an orphanage.
Ham and green eggs.
Oh my god.
Run this ham and green eggs.
Ham and Eggs that he was given at an orphanage. Wow, he was at an orphanage and they gave him that nickname, Ham and Eggs. That's kind of fucked.
Caviar.
Ham and caviar.
Ham and fish eggs.
Ew. in which he spent many of his early years. Many members of his family had mental illness, and one suffered from religious mania. His father was a riverboat captain, but by 1870, he was a fertilizer manufacturer. The elder Fish died of a heart attack in 16th Street Station at the Pennsylvania Railroad in 1875 in Washington, D.C. Fish's mother put him up into an orphanage. He was frequently whipped and beaten there. That's probably why he liked getting spanked. Eventually, he discovered that he enjoyed physical pain. Wow, very masochistic. Yeah, he's a masochist. The beatings will often give him erections, for which other orphans teased him. Can you imagine? She's assume the position. She said position his ass will fucking get all hard. By 1879, his mother got a government job and was able to look after him. However, his various experiences before this had affected him. He had started a homosexual relationship in 1882 at the age of 12 with the telegraph boy. Ooh. The youth had also introduced Fish into such practices as drinking. Wow. Okay, listen to this. Okay. The kid that he was seeing. Listen to this. Oh my god. Where did I leave it? The youth had also introduced Fish into such practices as drinking urine and coprophagia. I don't know how to say that word. Fish began visiting public baths where he would watch boys undress and spend a great portion of his weekends on these visits. Ew, so he was a voyeur. By 1890, Fish had arrived in New York City, where he had become a male prostitute. He also said he began raping young boys, a crime that he kept committing even after his mother arranged a marriage. Wow. In 1898, he was married to a woman 9 years his junior. They had 6 children: Albert, Anna, Gertrude, Eugene, John, and Henry Fish. He was arrested for embezzlement and was sentenced to incarceration in Sing Sing in 1903. He regularly had sex with men while in prison. So he was a open market in there, huh?
Yeah, very open guy.
Throughout 1898, he worked as a house painter, and he said he continued molesting children, mostly boys under 6. He later recounted an incident where a male lover took him to a waxworks museum where Fish was fascinated by the bisection of a penis. Soon after, he developed a morbid interest in castration. Ouch. During a relationship with a mentally retarded man, Fish attempted to castrate him after tying him up. The man became frightened and fled. Fish began intensifying his visits to brothels where he could be whipped and beaten more often. Oh my god. He was mean. He tried to cut some dude's wiener off. How dare. Kind of gives me some Brent Brandes vibes right there. In January 1970, his wife left him for John Strobe, a handyman who boarded with the Fish family. Following this rejection, Fish began to hear voices. For example, he once wrapped himself in a carpet, explaining that he was following the instructions of John the Apostle. So his wife left him for the roommate. No wonder you guys are acting fucking crazy. Early attacks and attempted abductions. Fish committed what he may have been his first attack on a child named Thomas Bedden in Wilmington, Delaware, in 1910. Afterward, he had stabbed a mentally retarded boy around 1919 in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. Yeah, he actually had, the first person he tried to cut off his wiener, he was mentally retarded. Then he tried to stab a mentally retarded boy. Wow. consistently of his intended victims would either be mentally retarded or African American because he believed they would not be missed. Wow, that's fucked up. Not only was he
homophobic, but he was racist.
He wasn't homophobic. He was gay. He was a secret gay guy. But racist that he was. Holy shit. He was actually just picking on the mentally ill. Because we remember, folks, we live in a day and age where retarded is a sensitive word. But the R word. Yeah. Yeah, and he was racist. He was killing little black boys, or trying to kill little black boys, because he didn't think they'd be missed. Oh. On July 11th, 1924.
Tunnels.
Just toddling about. Fish found 8-year-old Patrice Keel playing alone on her parents' Staten Island farm. He offered her money to come and help him look for rhubarb in the neighboring fields. She was about to leave the farm when her mother chased Fish away. Fish left but returned later to the Keel's home where he tried to sleep for the night before being discovered by Hans Keel and told to leave. Yeah, he's trying to... Oh my god. Alright. The murder of Grace Budd. Wow. Okay. Oh, this is gonna piss you off.
Okay.
Wanna know why?
Let me
Wanna know why?
I don't want to touch my computer. What?
On May 25th, 1928.
Oh gosh.
On your birthday.
2010?
No. May 25th, actual date, May 25th. 1928. Edward Budd put a classified ad in a Sunday edition of the New York World that read, "Young man, 18, wishes to position the country. Edward Budd, 406 West 15th Street." On May 28th, Fish, then 58 years old, visited the Budd family in Manhattan, New York City, under the pretense of hiring Edward. He introduced himself as Frank Howard, a farmer in Farmingdale, New York. When he arrived, Budd met Budd's younger sister, 10-year-old Grace. Fish promised to hire Budd and said he would send for him in a few days. On his second visit, he agreed to hire Budd. Then convinced their parents, Delia Finnegan and Albert Budd I, to let Grace accompany him to a birthday party that evening at his sister's home. Albert Sr. was a porter for the Equitable Life Insurance Society. Grace had a sister, Beatrice, and the two other brothers, Albert Budd II and George Budd. Fish left with Grace that day, but never came back. Wow.
Fuck.
Who the hell lets their kid go with a random stranger without really knowing him? You met the person twice?
That dumbass.
Wow, some fucking parents. Well, you gotta remember back in that time they lived in different standards, I guess. There was different things, I guess. The police arrested Charles Edward Pope on September 5th, 1930, as a suspect of the kidnapping. He was a 66-year-old apartment house superintendent and was accused of his estranged wife. Wow, he spent 100 days in jail between his arrest and trial on December 22nd, 1930. So he was falsely accused of taking Grace Budd by his wife. I mean, I bet they had a fucking argument, and she threw, "I bet you're like one of those perverts," and she fucking...
First of all, you let your child go with a damn stranger that you do not even know.
Yeah, but this is like, they arrested the wrong person. And because he was accused by his wife. Could you imagine? Wow. Okay, the letter. Okay. 7 years later. Well, I say okay. Oh, God. Cue fucking Freaky Fred. I mean. Wait. Ah. Wait, I gotta do something, guys. Hold on.
We'll search for you.
Freaky Fred naughty.
Right.
Just put the word not.
Not N-O-T.
N-A-U-T-H-Y. Freaky, to put Freaky Fred.
Oh my god.
Like I said, oh god. I'm like anticipating not to read the letter. But I had to read it. I have to read it. Oh my god. Okay, pause. Okay, that's how I imagine it sounds. 7 years later, in November 1934, an anonymous letter was sent to the girl's parents, which led the police to Albert Fish. The letter was quoted here with all of Fish's misspellings and grammatical errors. Are you ready to hear the letter?
Yeah.
Dear Mrs. Budd, in 1894, a friend of mine shipped as a deckhand on the steamer Tacoma, Captain John Davis.
Which I say did encourage me to be quite naughty.
Oh, God. So, dear Mrs. Budd, in 1894, a friend of mine shipped a deckhand on a steamer Tacoma, Captain John Davis. He sailed from San Francisco for Hong Kong. No. China. On arriving there, he said he and two others went ashore and got drunk. When they returned, the boat was gone. At that time, there was a famine in China. Meat of any kind was from $1 to $3 per pound, and so great was the suffering among the very poor, and all the children under 12 were sold for food in order to keep the others from starving. What the hell? So they were encouraging fucking cannibalism?
What the fuck?
A boy or girl under 14 was not safe in the street. You could go in any shop and ask for steak, chops, or stew meat. Part of the naked body of a boy or girl would be brought out and just what you wanted to cut from. A boy or girl's behind, which is the sweetest part of the body.
Which is the ass.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what they mean. That's what they mean, the behind.
The ass.
Was sold as a veal cutlet. Do you know what veal is?
What?
It's baby cow. Brought to the highest price. John stayed sick. There was so long he acquired the taste for. The hell was that? Oh. Acquired the taste for human flesh. On his return to New York, he stole two boys, one 7 and one 11. Took them to his home and stripped them naked, tied them in a closet, and then burnt everything they had on. Several times a day, at night, he'd spank them, torture them to make their meat good and tender. The first he killed was the 11-year-old boy, because he had the fattest ass and, of course, the most meat on it. Every part of his body, yeah, that's what it says. Every part of his body was cooked and eaten except the head, bones, and guts. He was roasted in the oven. All of his ass broiled and boiled, fried and stewed. The little boy was next. It went the same way. At the same time, I was living at 409 East 100th Street, near Right Side. He told me he would so often good human flesh was. I made up my mind to taste it. Wow. On June the 3rd, 1928, I called on you at 406 West 15th Street, brought you pot cheese and strawberries. We had lunch, and Grace sat on my lap and kissed me. I made up my mind to eat her on the pretense of taking her to a party. You said yes, she could go. I took her to the empty house in Westchester.
I've never felt so naughty.
Oh my God. You said yes, she could go, and I took her to an empty house in Westchester. I had already picked out. When we got there, I told her to remain outside. She picked wildflowers. I went upstairs and stripped my clothes off. I knew if I did not, I would get her blood on them. When I was all ready, I went to the window and called her. Then I hid in the closet until she came in the room. When she saw me all naked, she began to cry. I tried to run downstairs. I grabbed her and she said she would tell her mama. First, I stripped her naked. How she did kick, bite, and scratch. I choked her to death. Then cut her into small pieces so I could take my meat into my rooms, cook and eat it. How sweet and tender her little ass was roasted in the oven. It took me 9 days to eat her entire body. I did not fuck her though. I could have if I had wished. She died a virgin. Mrs. Budd was illiterate and could not read the letter for herself, so she had her son read it instead. Fish later admitted to his attorney that he indeed did rape Grace. Fish was a compulsive liar. However, this may be untrue. He had told the police when asked, never even entered his head to rape the girl. The capture. The letter was delivered in an envelope that had a small hexagonal emblem with the letters NYPCBA, the standing for New York Private Chauffeurs Benevolent Association. A janitor at the company told police he had taken some stationery home but left it in a rooming house at 200 East 52nd Street when he moved out. The landlady of the rooming house said the Fish had checked out of the room a few days earlier. She said that Fish's son had sent him money and he had asked her to hold his next check for him. William F. King, the lead investigator, waited outside the room until Fish returned. He agreed to go out to the headquarters for questioning, but at the street door lunged at King with a razor in each hand. King disarmed Fish and took him to the police headquarters. Fish made no attempt to deny Grace Budd's murder, saying that he had meant to go to the house and kill Edward Budd, Grace's brother, because he actually liked little boys more than he did girls. I don't know. Post-capture discoveries. Bill Gaffney. A child named Bill Gaffney was playing in the hallway outside the family apartment in Brooklyn with his friend Billy Beaton on February 11th, 1927. Both of the boys disappeared. The friend was found on the roof of the apartment house. When asked what happened to Gaffney, Beaton said the boogeyman took him. Initially, Peter, I apologize if I butchered his name. I mean, no offense. Kudzinowski was a suspect in the murder of Billy Gaffney. Then Joseph Meehan, a motorman and the Brooklyn trolley, saw a picture of Albert Fish in a newspaper and identified him as the old man he saw February 11th in 1927, who was trying to get quiet a little boy sitting with him on the trolley. The boy wasn't wearing a jacket and was crying for his mom. Was dragged by the man off and on the trolley. The police matched description to the child of Billy Gaffney. Gaffney's body was never recovered, and Billy's mother had visited Fish and Sing Sing and tried to get more details on her son's death. Fish confessed to the following. I brought him to the Riker Avenue dumps. There's a house that stands alone not far from where I took him. I took the boy there, stripped him naked, tied his hands and feet, and gagged him. Placed a dirty rag I picked up out of the dump. Then I burnt his clothes. I threw his shoes in a dump. I walked back and took the trolley to 59th Street at 2 a.m. and walked from there home the next day at 2 p.m. I took tools, a heavy Kettle 9 tails, homemade, short handle. Cut one of my belts in half, split these in half in 6 strips, about 8 inches long. Whipped his bare little behind till blood ran from his legs. I cut off his ears, nose, slit his mouth from ear to ear, gouged out his eyes, and he was dead by then. I stuck a knife in his belly and held my mouth to his body and drank his blood. I picked up old 4 potato sacks and gathered a pile of stones. Then I cut him up and had a grip rig with me. I put his nose, ears, and a few slices and his belly in the grip. Then I cut him through the middle of his body, just below the belly button, then through his legs, about 2 inches below his behind. Then I put my grip with a lot of paper, cut off his head, feet, arms, and hands, and legs below the knees. This is why I put in sacks, weighed with stones, tied to the ends, and threw them into the pools of slimy water you'll see at the the road going to North Beach. I came home with my meat. I had I had the front of his body I liked the best. His monkey and peewees and nice little fat behind the roast in the oven to eat. I made a stew out of his ears and nose and pieces of his face and belly. I put onions, carrots, turnips, and celery. Salt and pepper. It was good. I split the cheeks of his open behind, cut off his monkey and peewees, and washed them first. I put strips of bacon on each of the cheek of his behind and put them in the oven. Then I picked 4 onions. What? Sorry, guys. Apparently, cheeks makes her laugh.
No, I don't immature or anything. But the rest, it sounds, same thing.
What, that he cut off his monkey and peewees? You know who he was talking about, right?
Yes, I know he was talking about.
He cut off his little wiener and poor little kid.
What the shoes, though? The shoes.
She's more sad about the shoes than the kid dying. Oh my god.
I feel bad about the kid dying too, you know? I'm not that selfish.
You're not that mean.
I'm not that
Oh my god.
It's the shoes.
Okay. Then I picked 4 onions, and when the meat had roasted about a fourth of an hour, I poured about a pint of water over it for gravy and put it in the oven. Put it in the oven. Onions, my bad. I can't even read right, guys. At frequent intervals, I basted his behind with a wooden spoon so the meat would stay nice and juicy. In about 2 hours, it was nice and brown cooked through. I never ate any roast turkey that tasted half as good as his sweet little fat behind. I ate every bit of the meat in about 4 days. His little monkey was sweet as a nut, and his peewees I could not chew. I threw him in the toilet. Wow. For previous incarceration, Fish married on February 6th in 1930 at Waterloo, New York, to Miss Estella Wilcox and divorced after a week. He had been arrested in May 1930 for sending obscene letter to an African-American woman who answered an advertisement for maid. He had been sent to the Bellevue Psychiatric Hospital in 1930 and 1931 for observation following his arrest. I mean, why the fuck would you let him out if you kind of knew he was crazy?
I mean,
why would you let him out?
Why?
Fucking people, man. Trial and execution. It's almost over, guys. Oh, wait. We're gonna have to make this like a part 2. That's a lot of reading. Alright, where did I go? Okay, here we go. The trial of Albert Fish was for the premeditated murder of Grace Budd began on Monday, March 11th, 1935 in White Plains, New York, with Frederick P. Close as judge and Chief Assistant District Attorney Elbert F. Gallagher. As the prosecuting attorney, James Dempsey was Fish's defense attorney. The trial lasted for 10 days. Fish pleaded insanity and claimed to have heard voices from God telling him to kill children. Several psychiatrists testified about Fish's sexual fetishes, including coprophilia and urophilia. Okay, I gotta look up what the fuck coprophilia is. Coprophilia. Hold on. Give me a minute. Copro... A little bit. Okay. Marked an interest of excrement, especially the use of feces for... okay, that's so fucking gross. That means jacking off with shit. Gross. Urophilia is actually water sports. Pedophilia and masochism. There was a disagreement as whether these activities meant that he was insane. The defense chief expert witness was Frederick Wertham, a psychiatrist with a focus on child development who conducted psychiatric examinations for the New York...
Why? You look like you're
Copyright infringement. Okay. Where would I leave off? Oh, child psych. Who conducted psychiatric examinations for the New York criminal courts. Wortham stated that Fish was insane. Another defense witness was Mary Nicholas, Fish's 17-year-old stepdaughter. you gotta admit that stepdaughter fucking hated him. Wow. Okay, yeah. She describes how Fish taught her and her brothers and sisters a game involving overtones of masochism and child molestation. The jury found him to be sane and guilty, and the judge ordered the death sentence. Okay. After being sentenced, Fish confessed to the murder of 8-year-old Francis X. McDonald, killed on Staten Island. Francis was playing on the front porch of his home near Port Richmond, Staten Island, on June 15th, 1924. Francis's mother saw the old man walk by, clenching and unclenching his fists. He walked past without saying anything. Later that day, the old man was seen again, but this time he was watching Francis and his friends play. Francis' body was found in the woods near where a neighbor had seen Francis and the old man going earlier that afternoon. He had been assaulted and strangled with his suspenders. Aww. Poor baby. Fish arrived in March 1935 and was executed on January 16th. Poor little Francis.
I would know what I said, right? I said for the menaces here. For here. 1 year.
For the menace. She called Albert Fish a menace.
1 year.
Oh, God. Let's see. Fish arrived in March 1935, and he was executed on January 16th, 1936, in the electric chair at Sing Sing. He entered the chamber at 11:06 p.m. and was pronounced dead 3 minutes later. He was buried in the Sing Sing prison cemetery. He was recorded to have said that the electrocution would be the supreme thrill of my life. Just before the switch flipped, he stated, "I don't even know why I'm here." Legend has it that his execution took longer due to the numerous needles inserted in his privates, which disrupted the flow of electricity. So, there are pictures of his pelvis, and there are x-rays of his pelvis, and you can see needles and nails inserted into the pelvis area. Like, he had a fascination for causing pain to himself. He liked getting spanked with nail-studded paddles, shit like that. He was a masochist. He liked pain, you know. Not kink shaming here, but dude, seriously, he had some fucking issues. The victims known: Francis X. McDonald, age 8. Billy Gaffney, age 8. Grace Budd, age 10. Other possible victims: Fish denied involvement in any other murders. However, he was a suspect in 3 other murders. Detective William King believed Fish may have been the Brooklyn vampire, a rapist and murderer who mainly preyed on children. They were 1927 Yetta Abramovitz, age 12, from the Bronx. She was strangled and beaten on the roof of a 5-story apartment house on 1013 Simpson Street. She died in a hospital soon after she was found. The murderer escaped, but 20 detectives had said uniformed policemen were hunting the tall young man who had said to lure several young girls at the neighborhood into dark hallways and alleys. 1932, Mary Ellen O'Connor, age 16, in Far Rockaway in Queens. February 15th, 1932. Her mutilated body was found in the woods, close to a house that Fish had been painting. 1932, Benjamin Collins, age 17. So, yeah. Holy shit. So, actually, it was just actually a, wow.
Right, I added more detail to this. You can tell what I'm.
Oh, so she's actually drawing Frank from Donnie Darko, but in her style.
For since it's Halloween special, you can check it out on my page if I'm done. It's Strawberry Caesar from Mandela Catalog Dessert Universe. But what'd you say?
Yeah, you can follow her on TikTok at Tired Artist.
_official.
Yeah, she's got some cool stuff there, guys. Check it out.
Yeah.
So he was known for being called the Vampire of Brooklyn, the Werewolf of Wisteria. Oh my god. So that was Albert Fish. Dude was a fucking weirdo.
Weird.
Damn. Oh, there's more detail on how he killed Grace Budd.
Oh, really?
Oh my god.
Weird.
Poor baby. Wow. He decapitated her.
Really?
And then he threw the bucket of blood out the yard into the yard. He undressed the child, which was still dressed when he cut her head off. Then he started chopping her up. Parts of her body he took with him wrapped in newspaper. The rest he left there until he returned several days later. He threw portions of her body over a stone wall in the back of the house. He disposed of his tools in the same fashion. Wow. After his confession, Detective King had a final question. What caused him to do this horrible thing? You know, Fish answered, I could never account for it. John Captain Stein asked him why he had written a letter to the Budds, and Fish responded that he didn't know why. I just had a mania for writing. Oh my god. The day police went to Wisteria Cottage and they recovered the remains of Gracie. Albert Fish stood nearby completely without any emotion of any kind. That night at 10 p.m., Fish was interrogated by Assistant District Attorney P. Francis Morrow. When Morrow asked Fish why he had murdered Grace, he explained a sort of bloodthirst had overwhelmed him. Once it was done, he was overcome with sorrow. I would give him my life within a half hour after I'd done it to restore it to her. When they asked if he had raped Gracie, Fish was adamant that he had never was a thought. Nothing was asked at the time, nor anything volunteered about the cannibalism mentioned in Fish's letter to the Budds. The police may considered it too insane to be true, or perhaps they were already talking about the horrible details about cannibalism, what bolstered the inevitable defense for insanity. Wow. The night the capture of Albert Fish had leaked to the newspapers, reporters descended on the Budd apartment with the news. Shortly afterwards, Detective King drove Mr. Budd and his son Edward to the police station to identify Fish. Edward did more than identify Fish. He threw himself at the old man. You old bastard, you dirty son of a bitch. Mr. Budd was surprised at Fish's lack of emotion. Don't you know me? He asked the old man. Yes, you're Mr. Budd. You're the man who came to my home as a guest and took my little girl away, he said in tears. I mean, how could you be just so heartless and not emotional when you oh my god. That's sad. So yeah, he was a cannibal and all that shit. But they said there's more than 3 victims. I think they said there's more around whatever. I think they said 10 plus. They don't know if it's just molestation or just flat out kid killings. So he was already fucking corrupted when he was a kid. Known as a true sadist, Dr. Wertham considered Fish's unparalleled perversity unique in the annals of psychiatric and criminal literature. Sadomasochism directed against children, particularly boys. took the lead in his sexually regressive development. Fish told him, "I've always had a desire to inflict pain on others and to have others inflict pain on me. I always seem to enjoy everything that hurt." Warham told experiences on excreta on every imaginable kind were practiced by him actively and passively. He took bits of cotton, saturated them with alcohol, inserted them into his rectum, and set a fire to them. He also did that with his child victims. So he set his butthole on fire. Fish confided in Dr. Warham a long history of preying on children, at least 100. Fish would bribe them with money or candy. He usually chose African American children because he believed that the police did not pay much attention when they were hurt or missing. He never went back to the same neighborhood he said he had lived in at least 23 states. In each one he had killed at least one child. Sometimes he lost his job as a painter because he was suspiciously connected to these dead or mutilated children. He had a compulsion to write obscene letters and did so frequently. According to Dr. Wertham, they were not the typical obscene letters based on fantasies and daydreams to supply a vicarious thrill. They were offers to practice in his inclinations with the people he wrote in his graphic suggestions to. Pins and needles, I told you.
Pins and needles.
Initially, Dr. Wertham had some concerns about whether Dr. Fish. Fuck.
Dr. Fish.
Wait, my eyes are going cuckoo, guys.
Okay.
Dr. Wertham. Yeah, I was kind of going like my eyes are. No, we were watching House of a Thousand Corpses. That's why I gotta start doing my podcast. I've been wanting to talk about Albert Fish, and here I am. So yeah.
Literally talking about ass cheeks.
Poor little kids. I mean, no baby deserves to go through that fucking hurt and suffering that they went through. I hope wherever they are, they're at peace and they're, not. I mean, fucking A, it's hard when a child dies.
Yeah.
Especially at the hands of a perverted old fuck that already needed to die like a long time ago. But he's gone, so yeah, I hope he's rotting in hell. Okay, pins and needles. Initially, Dr. Wertham had some concerns about whether Fish was lying to him, especially when he told the psychiatrist that he had been sticking needles into his body for years between the rectum and the scrotum. So he was fucking putting needles in his gooch.
For what?
Pain, I guess. He was like...
He was in his gooch?
Yeah. He told of doing it to other people too, especially children. At first he said he had slowly stuck needles in and pulled them out again. He had stuck others in so far in that when he was unable to get them out, they stayed there. Wow. The doctor had x-rayed him, and sure enough, there were at least 29 needles in his pelvic region. At the age of 55, Fish started to experience hallucinations and delusions. He had visions of Christ and his angels. He began to be engrossed in religious speculations about purging himself of iniquities and sins, atonement by physical suffering, and self-torture, human sacrifices. He would go endlessly with quotations from the Bible, all mixed up in his own sentences, such as, Happy is he taketh thy little ones, and dasheth their heads against the stones. Fish believed that God had ordered him to torment and castrate little boys. He hadn't actually done so a number of times. Wertham was amazed by Fish, described a horrible cannibalism of Billy Gaffney's body. The state of mind while he described these things was a minute detail, was a peculiar mixture. He spoke in a matter-of-fact way, like a housewife describing her favorite methods of cooking, but at times his voice and facial expression indicated a kind of satisfaction and ecstatic thrill. He said to myself, however you define as medical and legal borders of sanity, this certainly is beyond that border. So... they said he was actually crazy. There was people arguing against that. The testimonies against Albert Fish were Grace's parents and brother Not to mention Delia, the parents of Gracie. Then you have his stepdaughter coming up to testify against him for the shit that he did to her and all this stuff. And they said he had a bout of psychosis because of all the shit he was doing to himself too. And he was the inspiration for Hannibal Lecter. If you guys don't know who Hannibal Lecter is, he actually is the cannibal from Silence of the Lambs. And there's a book, Silence of the Lambs. So it's crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was Albert Fish. I was gonna go through the whole thing, but it's all Wikipedia stuff. Yeah, it's fucked up. It's probably fucked up. Oh my god, I did not anticipate half of that. I didn't even know like they were gonna put all the details, and I know they do some of the gory details when it comes to like the killings and shit. But the kid killings are really fucked up, man. Even especially the way he was describing how he was killing them or what parts of meat he was cutting off. He was calling them juicy cheeks. As you can see, my co-host is losing her shit.
Why?
I have no idea. Alright, guys. This was Albert Fish. And this is Albert Fish. And, you know, I had to get over it, done with. So, yeah, that's how it is.
Just a random thought from the movie.
I know. I had to do it because I was talking about doing it. And I didn't really, I keep forgetting to. So, yeah. Alright, guys. Well, that's all for tonight, and I shall see you next Thursday as we talk our Manic Mondays. We talk about something else. Stay tuned for more, and have a good night. Be safe if you're outside. Be careful if you're playing with others, and most of all, do not drink and drive. If you can't find if you're intoxicated, get an Uber. If not, get an Uber, get a taxi, or call someone to pick you up. It's better to be safe than stupid. Alright? So, my kitty carry-alls, I shall see you next week. Bye. What's up, my kitty carry-alls? Welcome to a fun-filled episode of Odd Pods with the Odd Broad. I am the Odd Broad herself. I am joined by my two little goblins, and I brought back a fan favorite. You wanted him? You got him. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present...
Hello, ghouls and gals. It is me again, Nick Nitro.
Joining us. This is LJ's first episode with us. So, like I said, you all know that Rue joins me for some podcast episodes. Sometimes you hear my mom. And like you guys asked, you guys got Nick Nitro back. And this is going to be a permanent setting after, the 28th? Yep. So, welcome to the second episode of Season 5. As y'all know, I started Season 1 with Albert Fish.
Oh gosh, the details was...
That was so wrong.
I was laughing in the background the whole time.
She was laughing. Okay, so when we were doing Albert Fish, guys, she was making fun of his name because when he was in the orphanage, his real name is Hamilton. It's not Albert. So people...
Hammy.
They were calling him ham and eggs in the orphanage. So, guys.
So we took the name Albert and was sending letters?
Yeah. So we are going to be looking into Gary Ridgway. If you
Green River Killer.
So, my ladies and gents, let's get this episode started.
Please do.
Alright, so Gary Leon Ridgway, also known as the Green River Killer, is an American serial killer. He was initially convicted of 48 separate murders as part of his plea bargain. Another conviction was added, bringing the total number of convictions to 49, making him the second most prolific serial killer in United States history, according to confirmed murders. He has killed many teenage girls and women in the U.S. state of Washington during the 80s and 90s. So, oh, God. All right. LJ, let me ask you a question. Do you know the difference between a serial killer and just a regular killer? No. Okay. If it's just a regular killer, it's just someone just kills someone on a random, or someone they know. A serial killer goes by pattern. So there's signs and, you know, calling cards, like for Jack the Ripper. No, the person we're going to be talking about is Gary Ridgway. There was the son of Sam, David Berkowitz. Dude, when I did David Berkowitz's episode, Richard Ramirez, Eileen Wuornos, Jeffrey Dahmer. As you guys all know,
People Dahmer. I wish that could be on the shirt.
Oh my God, Jeffrey Dahmer, the People Dahmer. I know somebody has got a shirt like that, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So the thing with Jeffrey Dahmer, guys, is when I did my episode on him, I was like trying to get every bit of information I could about the killings that he did and all this shit. But when I was watching a Netflix show, I noticed there was a lot of inaccuracies in the killings. Like, they didn't bring up some of the other people he's killed. Like, the only one person they left out was the
native kid.
Yeah, the indigenous little boy.
Yeah.
The indigenous boy he did kill. And they never found his body because it's scattered in the woods somewhere.
Yeah, the only reason why he killed like black boys is because he didn't think they'd be missed, so
Yeah.
he was racist.
Yeah, it was kind of like a thing. It was like, you kind of notice like different people in calling cards, and they're like, their choice of victim is if they pick someone or kill somebody from like a specific race, like if it's just like mainly black girls, mainly white girls, Spanish girls, whatever, it's because it's that whole thing that they won't be missed. So there's like another whole topic to touch up on, like if we get on that part. So, okay, let's get this shindig started. Whew.
Let's do this.
All right. So, span of crimes went from 1982 to 1998, confirmed possibly as recent as 2001. He was mainly large in the state of Washington and Oregon. He was apprehended November 30th, and he's imprisoned at Washington State Penitentiary, Walla Walla, Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Is that a spider?
look. The actual spider shit?
Yeah. Over 20 years, Ridgway methodically raped and strangled scores of women, many of them prostitutes or runaways, dumping their bodies across the area of King County to confuse authorities. You know, he just scattered them all over.
Yeah.
Investigators believe that throughout his murderous spree, the seemingly mild-mannered Ridgway never spoke to anyone of his killings or kept trophies of the grisly crimes. All the while, he maintained his longtime job as a truck painter at the Kenworth truck plant in Renton, and married for the third time.
Damn. So the thing is, when it comes to, like I said, like Nick Nitro just mentioned, like prostitutes or runaways, that's what he specifically profiled. And this is like coming from, we got our news sources from news pages, Murderpedia, Wikipedia, and every other serial killer website we could find. And we actually have books too. But throughout the 80s and 90s, Ridgway was said to believe to have murdered at least 71 teenage girls and women near Seattle and Tacoma, Washington. In court statements, Ridgway later reported that he had killed so many that he had lost count. That's fucked. And the majority of the murders occurred between 82 and 84. The victims were either sex workers or runaways, who he picked up on Pacific Highway South. Wow. Ridgway sometimes would show pictures of his son to trick them into trusting him. So you think he'd be like, can you help me look for my son?
Basically, it was planned out. It was premeditated.
Can you help me find
I mean, he knew what he was doing and knowing what he wanted. How to do it.
I don't know, like it says, sometimes he showed women his son. To trick them into trusting him, they would engage in sexual activity, and after minutes of intercourse, from behind, Ridgway would wrap his forearm around the front of their necks and use an other arm to pull back tightly as he could, strangling them. He killed most victims in his home, truck, or secluded areas. Most of their bodies were dumped in woodland areas around the Green River, Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, and other dump sites within South King County. Damn.
Right. In July of 1982, the first body of Ridgway's victim was discovered. Children found the strangled body of Wendy Caulfield, age 16, floated in Seattle's Green River. Over the following weeks, 4 more bodies were discovered in or along its banks. All women, all strangled. On August 15, 3 more bodies were found, and Detective David Reichert, I don't know how to say his last name. Reichert? I'm going to call him Reichert.
Reichert, yeah.
I'm just going to call him Dave. Detective Dave was one of the first authorities to arrive at the scene. Marcy Chapman, age 31, was found in the shallow water alongside the naked body of 17-year-old Cynthia Hines.
Wow.
And nearby in the undergrowth lay the body of Opal Mills, age 16, blue trousers knotted around her neck, breasts exposed, bruises apparent on her arms and legs.
Jesus.
On August 16th of 1982, a police task force is set up. After the King County Sheriff's Office set up the Green River Task Force to investigate the killings, the body count rose as more victims were discovered along the river and in the area around the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Over the next 2 years, the Green River killer sexually assaulted and murdered more than over 40 women. Every time he found a body, it was like hit on the head with a baseball bat. Reichert told Time Magazine. It's pretty sick, man. This dude, so...
Yeah, this dude's got a lot of fucking kills on his belt, man. I mean, this is actually a thing from the well, okay, so here's a bit from his plea bargain, whatever. Deputy Prosecutor Jeffrey Bayard noted in court that the deal contained the names of 41 victims who would not be a subject of state versus Ridgway if it were not to be the plea agreement. The King County Prosecuting Attorney Norm Mailing explained the decision to make a deal. So the thing was, they gave him a deal to spare him from the death penalty. If he gave up his victims and whatever, he would also they would give him like a lighter sentence, or not even a lighter sentence. They would just like not put the death penalty on the table. So this is what the thing says. We could have gone for it with the 7 counts, but this is all we could have ever hoped to solve at the end of the trial. Whatever the outcome, there would have been lingering doubts about the rest of these crimes. The agreement was to avenue the truth, and in the end, the search for the the truth is still why we have criminal justice system. Gary Ridgway does not deserve our mercy. He does not deserve to live. The mercy provided by today's resolution is directed not at Ridgway, but toward the families who have suffered so much.
In 2003, Ridgway told investigators he stood against a fence during his original 1983 questioning to conceal scratches. Mavler had left his arm while trying to escape.
Melvar is actually one of the 18-year-old prostitutes that he killed.
Ridgway said he burned the scratches with the battery acid to disguise them once the detectives had left.
It's pretty scary.
I mean, to think someone actually premeditated how to kill someone and get rid of their bodies, or even just damaging their face so they wouldn't be recognized.
Nope.
You have people literally pulling teeth out of skulls just so they can't use dental records. You have people cutting off fingers, toes, heads, everything. Like in the case of Luca Magnotta and the one Ice Pick, one lunatic video, he cut off the head of Jolene, took off his hands and feet, and he actually mailed that shit to Parliament.
He's crazy, man.
Dude.
These people are nuts. Already a person of interest due to his known association with area prostitutes, Ridgway contacted police with the supposed intention of assistance. He then passed a polygraph test in which he denied killing any women. Wow. That's crazy. He was questioned after Malvar, because she was last seen by her boyfriend getting into a paint patch pickup with a dark-haired man about 30 to 40 years old. 4 days later,
Jesus.
police questioned Ridgway at his home about his knowledge of Malvar, whom he denied knowing. In November, police once again spoke. November of 1983, my bad. Spoke with Ridgway about the murders, but he denied any knowledge of the victims, and authorities lacked evidence to connect him to any of the crimes. Fucker.
Let's see.
1986, the police talked with Ted Bundy.
Yeah, so the thing is about Ted Bundy was that he actually offered to profile the Green River Killer, because even the shit that Gary Ridgway did appalled Ted Bundy, and we all know Ted Bundy was a lady killer, so...
Yeah.
Crazy fucker. With a few reliable leads in Green River Killer case, authorities were desperate for any information to further the investigation. Having read about the ongoing cases in the press, convicted serial killer Ted Bundy wrote to Reichert, offering his help in the case. Wow, so he wanted to help Detective Dave. So Detective Dave flew to Florida, where Bundy was being held on death row. During discussions, Bundy reportedly advised authorities that the killer may be revisiting his victims' corpses and performing sexual acts on them.
So he was a necrophilia.
Yeah, a hypothesis Ridgway later confirmed. Ooh.
Okay, so here was like a thing I read in the book that I have. It actually said when Gary Ridgway was in the in the Philippines during the wars and stuff, is that he would kill prostitutes and he would then have sex with them when they were alive, and then he would have sex with their bodies once he killed them.
Yeah.
So he was a prolific necrophiliac.
In 1987, Ridgway provides a DNA sample that would eventually be his downfall.
Saliva.
Because Ridgway was the last person allegedly seen with the two last victims, police eventually searched his home and vehicles in 1987 in connection with the murders. It was at that time Ridgway finally provided police with a saliva sample that would later tie him to the crimes.
No, you can't knock up a dead body.
Dead children with a dead person? What's wrong with you?
Well,
Children are already dead once they hit that body.
Yeah, pretty much.
For Christ's sakes, child.
Okay.
But due to insufficient DNA testing at the time, Ridgway remained a free man for more than a decade. What a
Jesus.
fucker, huh? Okay, it wasn't until March of 2001 DNA testing expands and connects Ridgway to 3 murders instead of just the 2. With new techniques and forensic testing at their disposal, investigators re-examined evidence from across the years the killer had been active. It was a last-ditch effort. Beverly Himmick, a Washington State Patrol Crime Laboratory forensic scientist, told the New York Times, "We didn't have a lot to work with, but we went through a lot of evidence again. We rinsed the fingernails, we took the trace of evidence and swabbed the ligatures for cellular material. With one girl, we were able to find a few sperm clinging to her pubic hair."
The thing with DNA is that back then in the 80s and 90s, it was still like a premature project,
it wasn't as high-tech as it is now. Like,
I guess
man, you can't leave nothing behind nowadays.
nowadays, it just from a single sweat cell, a hair, a trimming of skin, anything like that can actually...
Whole piece of clothing.
Like...
Fabric,
like threads, anything. Like even cat hair.
Fiber, even a little piece of fiber.
Exactly, like the... technology back then is not as how it is now, because back then it would take months to years.
Even a fart particle could
someone's stench.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy because like in ways, if you look at it in a certain way, it doesn't matter, like with the DNA testing and all that back then. It would take months to years, even decades to solve murders. We can look at the case of look at BTK. They couldn't find who the killer was.
BTK.
BTA killer.
Or BTA.
BTK. BTK. You know what BTK stands for? Is bind, torture, kill. And that guy will be that episode will probably be up on the weekend. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be so awesome. I can't wait to do this.
I mean, yeah, because like I said, guys, I bring in my brother on to this as a permanent fixture since we'll be moving home. And since the cat's out of the bag, a lot of people are asking me, am I gonna bring back Nick Nitro? And the answer is yes, I am. He was a fan favorite when we did the Eileen Wuornos episode.
Yeah, I think that was my first one.
Richard Ramirez was the first one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Richard Ramirez was the first one. And then we did Eileen Wuornos. And then, yeah. So, November 5th, 2003, Ridgway pleads guilty. And a plea bargain. Yeah. Oh, wait, I backtrack. I need to backtrack. Okay. New DNA profiles. New DNA profiles from 3 victims were compared with Ridgway's. Thanks to the saliva sample he had provided in 1987, it was a match in all 3 cases. November 30th, 2001, police announced the arrest of the Green River Killer. Nearly 2 decades after the first murder, King County Sheriff Reichert announced that Ridgway, 52, was arrested in connection with the 4 of the Green River Killer's early victims, Marcia Chapman, Opal Mills, Cynthia Hines, and Carol Ann Christensen, whose bodies was recovered in 1983. On November 5th, 2003, Ridgway pleads guilty. In a plea bargain that would spare him the death penalty in return for his confession and information regarding the details of the murders and locations of the bodies, Ridgway will enter a guilty plea to 48 charges of aggravated first-degree murder. I've killed so many women, I have a hard time keeping them straight, Ridgway said in his statement, admitting he killed most of his victims in his house or truck before disposing the bodies, adding that most cases he did not even know their names. Most of them I just killed the first time I met them and did not have a good memory of their faces, explaining why he had chose women he thought to be prostitutes. Ridgway said they were easy to pick up without being noticed. He knew they would not be reported missing right away and might never be reported missing. I picked prostitutes because I could kill as many as I wanted without getting caught. The nerve of that man.
He's just had no shame in his game, right?
For real, okay. No hate on sex workers. You do your thing, get your bag, but be safe about it. You know, they're human too. Damn. They're human. And yeah, maybe they're doing it because they need to take care of something of either salve some family members. You never know. Everyone has their own fucking story and hardship shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
So, they're human. They're people. They, might not be a career choice of your preference, but that's what they're doing to get by. Fucking leave them alone. Ugh, sometimes people suck.
Yeah, they do.
For December 18, 2003, Ridgway is sentenced. For his crimes, King County Superior Court judge sentenced Ridgway to 48 life sentences to be served consecutively with no possibility of parole. Damn.
For nearly 2 decades after the first murder, King County Sheriff announced that Ridgway 52 was arrested in connection with 4 of the Green River Killer's early victims. That's Marcia Chapman, Opal Mills, Cynthia Hines, and Carol Ann Christensen, whose body was recovered in 1983. This is a quote from him. I killed so many, like you said, I killed so many women, I have a hard time keeping them straight.
I thought, I read that the wrong way the other day. My eyes are fucking tired. I killed some women because I wasn't straight.
Most of the time I killed them the first time I met them, and I do not have a good memory of their faces.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So
He said even I picked prostitutes because I thought I could kill as many of them as I wanted without getting caught.
Like I said, the nerve of this dude.
Yeah,
Alright,
man.
so This is the victim list. Wendy Lee Caulfield, 16. Giselle Ann Laverne, 19. Deborah Lynn Bonner, 23. Marcia Faye Chapman, 31. Opal Charmaine Mills, 16. Terry Renee Milligan, 16. Mary Bridget Meehan, 18. Deborah Lauren Estes, 15. Linda Jane Rule, 16. Denise Darcel Bush, 23. Shonda Lee Summers, 16. Shirley Marie Sherrill, 18. Colleen Renee Brockman, 15. Alma Ann Smith, 18. Dolores Laverne Williams, 17. Gail Lynn Matthews, 23. Andrea M. Childers, 19. Sandra K. Galbert, 17. Kimmy K. Pister, 16. Marie M. Malvar, 18. Carol Ann Christensen, 21. Martina Teresa Otherly, 18. Cheryl Lee Wims, 18. Yvonne Shelley Antosh, 19. Carrie A. Royce, 15. Constance Elizabeth Naon, 19. Kelly Marie Ware, 22. Tina Marie Thompson, 21. April Dawn Buttram, 16. Debbie Mae Abernathy, 26. Tracy Ann Winston, 19. Maureen Sue Feeney, 19. Mary Sue Bello, 25. Pammy Avent, 15. Delise Louise Plager, 22. Kimberly L. Nelson, 21. Lisa Yates, 19. Mary Exeta West, 16. Cindy Ann Smith, 17. Patricia Michelle Barzak, 19. Roberta Joseph Hayes, 21. Marta Reeves, 36. Patricia Yellowrobe, 38. Rebecca Morello, 20. Unidentified female, white female, 12 to 17. Unidentified white female, 17 through 19. Unidentified black female, 18 to 27. Unidentified white female, 14 to 18. That's the list of his victims. Damn. That's messed up. I mean, that's just, yeah.
6 sinister facts about Gary Ridgway. Okay. Number 1, Gary justified his murder of prostitutes by town police. You guys can't control them, but I can. Number 2, he often returned to his dumping grounds to have sex with his victims, like he said. He claimed he'd sometimes return to have sex with them for 2 to 3 days. To the flies cave. Sick fuck. It became with such a compulsion that he began burying their bodies rather than risk rest. Number 3, Gary once stated that he killed so many women he lost count, of course, just like he said. Number 4, TV reporter Charlie Hager, I'm just gonna call him Charlie. Charlie, who interviewed Ridgway, said that he described the victim's head falling off her decaying body with the nonchalance of someone taking their dog for a walk. Taking the dog for a walk.
What the hell?
He has not emotion about it. For him, it's like talking about what he had for dinner last night. There's no connection there.
Yes, dude.
Number 5, he once said he avoided killing family members only because it would have been easier to get caught.
Whoa.
Well, that's kind of smart.
Number 6, and the final sinister fact. His second wife told police that Ridgway would often take her to have sex where the Green River Killer's bodies had been found.
Wow.
Like he was taking her back to where his stomping grounds. Sick bastard, I swear.
Alright, guys. So here's the thing. Another factor for you. Patricia Ann Yellowrobe was a member of the Chippewa Cree Nation. And she was... she was registered at the Rocky Boy Indian Reservation. So she was a confirmed murder victim of the Green River Killer because they found sperm on her. That's fucked. And you know, we are advocates of the MMIW movement, and that's really upsetting because we have so many missing people, and we don't know if they've fallen prey to, you know, serial killers or just very vile people in general.
The strange thing about Gary Ridgway is if you didn't know the depravity of, you know, if you didn't know the evil that this guy could have committed, you would have no clue. You talked on the phone with him.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, we could like take into consideration, like, okay, say you're like in like the store, you bump into somebody, and they just look at you kind of fucked up. You never know, they might be a serial killer or something. Like they could be like buying supplies for their next fucking spree or some shit. You know, you never know.
Right.
I mean, the dude like. They be like the dude buying chicken next door, be like buying chicken right next to you, might be like feeding it raw to some person he's got locked up in a basement somewhere.
Yeah. There's another list of suspected but unconfirmed victims.
Read it out.
Okay. Tammy Vincent, age 17, disappeared August 1979. Amina Akshif, age 35, disappeared July 7, 1982. Casey Ann Lee Woods, age 16, disappeared August 28, 1982. Tammy Lyles, age 16, disappeared June 9, 1983. Kelly K. McGinnis, age 18, disappeared June 28, 1983. Angela Marie Gardner,
Gregor?
Gregor. Age 16, disappeared July of 1983. Doesn't say the date. Patricia Osborne, age 19, disappeared October 20th, 1983. Martha Morrison, age 17, disappeared September 1st, 1974. Unidentified black female, unknown, disappeared December 1980. Christy Lynn Borak, age 13, disappeared October 31st, 1982. Patricia Ann LeBlanc, age 15, disappeared August 12th, 1983. Rosemary Curran, age 16, disappeared August 26, 1987. Darcy Ward, age 16, disappeared April 24th, 1990. Cora McGurrick, age 22, disappeared July 12th, 1991.
Oh my god. Yes, I mean, he is a fucking piece of work. I mean, if you look at him, he just looks like a normal dude. And his youngest victim is actually 14 years old. That's Cheryl Limbs. Oh, dude, it's just crazy. I mean, if you look at all like the documentaries about him, it just like all of them mention the same. Like he's got an asphyxiation with prostitutes.
Yeah.
But you gotta kind of. It's not only just because they won't be missed or they won't be reported missing. It's that even what I've learned doing this thing along the way is that they always have some kind of modus operandi. It doesn't matter if it's because, you know, maybe it's something that got scorned. Look at the case of Ted Bundy. He got dumped by a brunette woman with long hair. Who did he kill mostly? Long-haired brunette women.
Yeah, brunettes. Yeah, that's right.
So,
same with... Oh, fuck, who does it? Only killed a certain
type of, you know, women.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at characteristics, you have to actually mention the characteristics, too. It's like, you never know. They could be like, I mean, blonde hair, blue eyes, and the killer would go after someone with blue hair and blue eyes. Like in Bundy's case, you know, and then after he started getting reckless, and that's when he went after everybody in that sorority house.
Hey, did we ever do his biography first? Like how, like everything, like his birthday and everything?
No, we didn't.
Okay, well, Gary Leon Ridgway was born on February 18th of 1949 in Salt Lake City, Utah. He had two more brothers, and his childhood was, well, let's say troubled, but no signs of abuse are reported. His father was a bus driver, and apparently he used to tell Gary a lot of stories about whores and how they used to stay away from them because whores are bad. He grew up with these lessons he received from his father. His mother was told to be slightly controlling, and some believe that Gary may have been sexually attracted to her. Okay, there you go.
Wow.
The whores.
The horse.
The whores.
The horse. His father was the root of it.
There you go. That's the
Yeah, that's the premise. And then there's a psychological term for like kids being attracted to their parents. Psychological. Hold on, let me look at it. I don't remember the name.
His teenage years were troubled as well. He wasn't the brightest in the school and was described by his classmates as forgettable. No one knew exactly what was going on in his little mind. At age 16, he lured a kid into the woods and stabbed him. While walking away, according to the victims in Gary's own statement, he said, "I always wondered what it would be like to kill someone." The victim didn't die, however. He suffered a wound to his liver, though.
Whoa. So when you said he had like sexual attraction feelings to his mom,
Yeah.
it's called Oedipus complex. It's a psychoanalytic theory, a desire for sexual involvement with a parent of opposite sex, and a concomitant sense of rivalry with the parent of the same sex. A crucial stage in normal developmental process. I don't think that's fucking normal. I think it's gross. I mean, if you got some shit going on, let's just say, yeah, you got some shit going on. Go get help. You should see your kids fucking looking at you like, leering at you like, hey, what's up, mama? You go fucking take that kid to the shrink, goddammit.
Right. So, like, before Ridgway became all this, he actually graduated from Thai High School in 1969. While he was still in high school, he joined the Navy soon after. Yeah, like you said.
Yep.
He was in the armed forces.
He was in the armed forces.
After graduation, he married his high school girlfriend, 19-year-old Claudia Craig Barrows. He then was sent off to Vietnam, where he served on board a supply ship. During the time he served in the military, Gary Ridgway engaged often with prostitutes. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
When practicing unprotected sexual encounters.
He caught gonorrhea.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This led to contracting STDs, gonorrhea to be more exact, but didn't bother him as much as he continued to practice unprotected sex. Meanwhile, at home, his wife engaged in extramarital affairs as well. The marriage fell apart and ended.
Jesus.
That was the first marriage, yeah. Oh, his first marriage, my bad. Wait, what the fuck?
Wow. His
Second.
two first marriages resulted in divorce because of infidelities by both partners. His second wife, Marcia Winslow, claimed that he had placed her in a chokehold. He became religious during his second marriage, proselytizing door to door, reading the Bible aloud at work and at home, and insisting that his wife follow the strict teachings of their pastor. Okay, since he's from Utah, I'm just gonna fucking say it. Was he just like a regular Christian Catholic, or do you think he was one of those Mormon people?
I think he was probably a Mormon guy, because the way that, you think about it, the Mormons didn't like whores.
Like, true, they don't like whores. I mean, let's see. I'm gonna Google it because I have to. What was Gary Ridgway's? I put Gabby. Gabby Ridgway. Religion. What you are? He's a Baptist. My bad. He's a Baptist. Oh my God. Yeah, so to come to terms with that, you gotta remember, if you're like, some people of a fanatic religion can actually, have some mental tweaks. I'm just saying, because if you don't remember, I did do a cult episode on some religions. I got some shit for that. I did get some harassing emails about that though.
Yeah.
YOLO. Like, seriously. It's like, I called out. I fucking mentioned Scientology and they sent me an email.
No way.
Fucking asking me if I was interested in coming in and doing an audit session. I'm like, fuck no. How'd you get my email, bro? Seriously.
That's crazy. During his last marriage, he slowed down and killed far less victims. Wow. His killing seems to have started after his second divorce, slowing down significantly after his third marriage. So that's kind of weird.
See, according to the women in his life, Ridgway had an insatiable sexual appetite. His three ex-wives and several ex-girlfriends reported that he demanded sex from them several times a day. He often would want to have sex in a public area or in the woods. Ridgway himself admitted to having a fixation with sex workers with whom he had a love-hate relationship with. He frequently complained about their presence in his neighborhood, but he also took advantage of their services regularly. So he was a fucking hypocrite. Some have speculated Ridgway was torn between his lusts and staunch religious beliefs. Wow. I kind of hate when they throw religion into it. Like, I did it because Jesus told me to. Joseph Smith told me to kill her.
The devil made you do it.
Lucifer.
You know, he once went camping with his son and the remains of one of his victims.
What the shit?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, he doesn't always tell the story. It's
That's like a fact or whatever. Holy shit, that's fucking raunchy. Oh my god. That is insane.
That's pretty scary.
Who is he?
Oh shit. I don't know, but it's pretty scary.
Okay. Ridgway was placed in solitary confinement at Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla in 2004. On May 2015, he was transferred to USP Florence High, a high-security federal prison east of Canyon City, Colorado. In 2015, after a public outcry, discussions with Governor Jay Inslee, Corrections Secretary Bernie Warner announced that Ridgway would be transferred back to Washington to be easily accessible for open murder investigations. Ridgway was returned by chartered plane to Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla from USP Florence High in October 2015. I don't know why they fucking moved him. That's kind of stupid.
You know, they picked up 3 people before he was actually arrested. The first arrest police made was on August 20th of 1982. But while the suspect was in custody, the real Green River Killer abducted 16-year-old Terry Milligan, a sex worker from the SeaTac Strip. Wow. That's crazy. The first suspect was let go in September. Police picked up their second suspect, Charles Clinton Clark, who had been accused of raping 2 prostitutes. He confessed to the rapes, but while behind bars, 19-year-old Mary Meehan disappeared from the strip and was proof enough that Clark wasn't the Green River Killer. Even though he was the rapist, finally in October that same year, a taxi driver named Melvin Wayne, a SeaTac Strip regular, was arrested. That's 3. He failed a polygraph test, and yet again, while the police suspected was in custody, 3 more women were killed. Shonda Summers, age 17, Denise Bush, age 23, and Shirley Sherrill, age 18. So police let him go. That's crazy.
I mean, it's just like it's like one after another. All these. I know how everyone's freaking, like, it's like a mass hysteria when, you know, they don't want to look for the people right away.
He was actually leaving a double life.
Yeah, he was. He was like normal 1 minute and then fucking kill her the next.
Yeah.
I mean, make it make sense. I mean, if he could get away with that shit and live look at a BTK killer. Take Dennis Rader for example. He lived a double life too. He was killing people, then going home to his family. His daughter found out he was a BTK on live TV.
He was even seen missing with a missing prostitute. February 23rd, 1983, before Marie went missing, police stopped Ridgway in his pickup with prostitute Kelly McGinnis. Ridgway said they were on a date and police let them go. 4 months later, Kelly disappeared and her body was never found. His van also matched the description of the car that picked up both Marie and Kimmy.
Wow.
Basically, they're just fucking letting him go.
They didn't have to cops to fuck up. They should have been like, you know.
Like, that's
Look, okay, did you watch Dahmer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yo,
Okay, so what happened with the 14-year-old boy? The cops fucking let him go.
Yeah, because Dahmer said that it was his boyfriend, and that he got too drunk, and so he lay him on the couch, and basically the cops let him go just for saying that.
Plus, yeah, because they didn't want to deal with any gay stuff. Like, they didn't want to bother checking the kid's ID or anything. The fact that he was naked running down the street. I mean, and then some cops are like, I don't want to deal with that.
did you know that he kept the bodies in clusters?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
No, Ridgeway.
Yeah, Ridgeway did that, yeah.
He did it because he wanted to keep track of all the women he killed.
Trying to see what pile he was going to see, what was good and what wasn't.
He will drive by the clusters around the county and think about the women I placed there.
Jesus. That's sick. That is sick. Oh my goodness gracious me, oh my.
God, you're evil.
Seriously. And he's currently rotting.
Why couldn't he just be like Nancy Kerrigan and take a knee?
For Nancy Kerrigan. Why?
I'm sorry, Tanya Harding.
Tanya Harding. Oh yeah,
Have you seen the movie that?
I, Tanya?
Tanya?
Yeah.
I see.
She was just like unhinged. Her mom was no fucking help.
Mom was a bitch.
Yeah, her mom was no fucking help, man.
Shit. Pissed me off.
I was watching, I was getting pissed off at it. I was like, oh my god. And then it was just like one after another, one after another. Okay. Oh, wow. That was the Green River Killer. Gary Ridgway. Dude's fucking just, like, all types of gross. But we do know the root of his fixation of prostitutes started with his dad.
Because his dad told him
Whores are bad. Oh my god. It's like people who condition their kids to like hate a certain thing. Yeah. It's like you have to be careful when you have kids because they're like sponges. They fucking suck up everything.
It, yes, they absorb any negative energy, any whatever they.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
I think because we as parents, we know the dangers and shit, and we're like
the dangers, the consequences of things. You know what to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to do. So we advise you parents out there. Love your kids because, you know, they're all we got.
Teach them the right way. Don't fucking lead them astray. And don't teach them, like, it's okay to hate and do this shit because it's not okay.
Show them to love.
Yeah.
Show them how peace is more accepting than hate.
And people are people. People are humans. They have feelings. They have emotions. They're valid. Just because, you know, skin color, race, gender, whatever, you know, shouldn't matter. Everyone needs to have that connection, that quality, because it's bullshit when people fucking raise their kids to hate. I mean, I still live in a city, but I've seen where a fucking 4th grade girl tells a little indigenous girl, you can't play with these black kids because you're white. Yeah, my kid's light skinned, but yeah, this little girl tells my kid she can't play with the black kids or the Mexican kids because she's white. So my kid comes home demanding to know what the hell she is.
Is that the one you're telling me?
Yeah, her dad is a fucking skinhead. Yeah, he has a giant swastika tattoo in the back of his fucking head, and he was just like all, in the damn office. He was sitting talking so much shit, and then he looked at me and he was like, "What was that?" Before he could say, I went off on him. I didn't fucking care. I had no fucking filter. I mean, that elementary school was kind of terrified of me. I went toe-to-toe with the school nurse and some teachers because they were picking on my kid. And I'm a total mama bear when it comes to that shit. Like, don't fuck with my kid. I'll hurt you.
No, mine will hurt you himself. He's mean.
Yeah. It's just like, oh my god.
You shouldn't claim to be a killer. No, we don't do that around here.
Nope. We just hunt deer.
We kill for food.
Yep. But not like the Thomas Brown Hewitt type of
Not
thing.
for sport.
Yeah, we're not the Brown. We're not.
We kill for survival, not for sport.
Yeah, we're not the Hewitts. If you got the reference.
We don't go to other people's countries and kill lions.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's another thing. There's like a whole bunch of animals that like what recently went on the extinction list because of poachers and fucking headhunters because those people disgust me.
That's sad because it just ruins it for everybody.
Yep. I was upset.
Really, really sad. These motherfuckers.
People like seriously, people need to stop. I mean, enjoy life instead of killing it. Fuck.
It's not fun anymore.
Yep.
It's not war.
Oh my gosh.
It's worse.
Hearts still go out to the people in Ukraine.
Yep. Heart goes out to Ukraine.
Yep.
Always prayers, thoughts and prayers, blessings to all you out there.
And recently to the families in Raleigh.
To all the families in Florida.
So families in Florida recovering from Hurricane Ian, to the recent mass shooting in Raleigh, to the families, the people, the families, families of the people who were unnecessarily murdered. Prayers are out to you. I mean, there's a lot of bad shit going on in the world, and you just need to stop. And
It's awful. It's bad.
yeah, it's terrible. It's like we're living in a world we have to always make sure our kids are safe. I shouldn't have to send my kid to school with a bulletproof backpack.
Nope.
Yeah. So, guys, this is the end of episode 2. Tomorrow we may do either BTK or that one dude. I can't remember.
BTK, let's do BTK.
Is it BTK? Yeah, PTK. BTK is tomorrow, if you guys don't know.
We'll do the PTA tomorrow.
We're doing the PTA tomorrow. Yeah, so we're going to be signing out. You can catch me on my socials. It's at Oddpods of the Odd Broad on IG, or It's Cyrus to You on Snapchat. You can also follow me on TikTok at It's Cyrus to You. You want to add your socials or not?
You want to add me up? It is Nick Nitro FB. If you want to hit me up on Instagram, it is Nick Nitro 86. Jamesy Boy on Snapchat 42069. Hit me up.
Yep, and this has been episode 2 of Odd Pods with the Odd Broad. This is the Odd Broad herself. You guys don't forget, if you want to start a podcast of yourself, download Anchor and you can start your own podcast. You also can get paid for that too when you get sponsored. So you guys can find this podcast on any other podcast from Google Podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Podbean, whatever you guys find your podcast on. This has been Odd Broad. Have a good night, guys.